Lisa Marie was 9 years old. She was inside Graceland when she found her father collapsed face down in his bathroom. Elvis Presley was gone. He was only 42. Lisa saw him lying there, lifeless, in a place she was never supposed to go. The bathroom door was always off limits. But that morning, she walked in and saw a scene she could never unsee. The house turned into chaos. Paramedics rushed in. It took several men to lift Elvis onto a stretcher. Lisa screamed and tried to run after him. Adults held her back, but she kicked and fought, desperate to stay near him. She never saw his face as they carried him out. She later said that not seeing him like that was a small mercy, but the pain stayed. Her grandfather's voice echoed through the house. "Your daddy's gone. He's gone." And just like that, the most important person in her life was no longer there. Lisa had always feared something like this would happen. She had written poems with lines like, "I hope my daddy doesn't die." She sensed something was wrong. She had seen him sick. She had seen him passed out. She was just a child, but she could tell something was deeply off. Her poetry became a warning no one took seriously until it was too late. After Elvis died, Lisa didn't immediately inherit his fortune. The estate was placed in a trust. She had to wait until she was 25 to receive it. By then, both her grandfather and great-grandmother had died. That made her the only living heir. When she finally got the inheritance in 1993, the estate had grown. It was now worth around $100 million. She became one of the richest young women in the country, but money didn't erase the pain. In her memoir, Lisa spoke honestly. She said, "My life as I knew it is completely over." The loss hit her harder than anyone could imagine. She wasn't just mourning her father. She felt trapped with a mother she didn't feel close to. "He's dead, and now I'm stuck with her," she said. That one sentence revealed how broken she felt. Her childhood was gone. The one person who made her feel safe was never coming back. She had to grow up fast, and she did, but the scars stayed. In high school, Lisa Marie felt even more disconnected. Around 1984 or 1985, when she was about 16 or 17, she dropped out entirely. She later described this decision as the beginning of her self-destructive phase, her life quickly filled with drugs, pain, and punk rock. Bands like Devo and the Sex Pistols blasted from her room. She used them to drown out her sadness and confusion about who she really was. Priscilla noticed the changes early. She enrolled Lisa Marie in a Scientology-run school, hoping it would help, but nothing could stop the spiral. Lisa Marie later admitted that the drugs and rebellious behavior scarred her for years. The harder people tried to control her, the more she pushed back. At just 14, Lisa Marie began dating a man who was 23. It was a relationship built on loneliness and confusion. She was searching for love and escape, but instead of care, she was betrayed. The man secretly took compromising photos of her and sold them. The damage was deep. Lisa Marie was already vulnerable, and this betrayal crushed her. The humiliation from the photos pushed her to a breaking point. That same year, she swallowed 20 Valium pills in an attempt to end her life. She was only 14. The pain of losing her father, the pressure from her mother, and now the public shame all became too much. Her overdose forced everyone around her to finally see how badly she was suffering. By the time she turned 17 in 1985, Lisa Marie was still using drugs. Priscilla made a bold move. She placed her daughter in Scientology's Celebrity Center in Los Angeles. The center offered no traditional rehab. Instead, it used Dianetics, structure, and peer mentorship. Lisa Marie rebelled at first. She later admitted that she spent her first 4 days there, high, locked away in her room. But something shifted when she was asked to mentor another teenager. That small responsibility gave her purpose. It was the first sign of real change. When she turned 18 in 1986, Lisa Marie made her commitment to Scientology official. She credited the church for saving her from addiction. It became her new home. It gave her a tribe and a way to rebuild herself. But the price was high. Scientology's grip was strong. It demanded loyalty, secrecy, and total control. Lisa Marie stayed with the church for many years, even as questions and criticisms mounted around her. Eventually, in 2013, she left Scientology. She called it too much and admitted she had been manipulated. Still, for a time in her life, it was the only place that had given her a reason to keep going. Lisa Marie Presley's memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, tells a heartbreaking story of abuse that started when she was just 10 years old. Her mother, Priscilla's boyfriend, Michael Edwards, an actor known for roles in films like Mommy Dearest and The Terminator, began sexually abusing her in the late 1970s. This was a tough time for Lisa Marie, who was still reeling from her father Elvis Presley's death. She describes waking up one night to find Edwards on his knees, touching her inappropriately under the sheets. If she moved, he'd stop, so she learned to wiggle to make him leave. This first incident marked the start of years of trauma that shaped her life in painful ways. The abuse wasn't a one-time thing. Edwards kept coming into her bedroom at night, touching her and even spanking her, leaving bruises on her body. He'd tell her not to look at him or turn her head, adding to the fear and confusion she felt as a child. She believed he was pleasuring himself during these moments, which made the experience even more horrifying. Eventually, Lisa Marie found the courage to tell her mother, showing Priscilla the bruises as proof. But the response wasn't what she needed. Priscilla confronted Edwards, who made weak excuses, saying he was drunk, or, shockingly, that 10-year-old Lisa Marie was flirting with him. Instead of strong action, Priscilla arranged an awkward apology session where Edwards sat on the bed, sulking and justifying himself. This left Lisa Marie feeling blamed and unprotected in her own home, carrying a heavy sense of guilt no child should ever feel. The abuse dragged on for years, and it wasn't just sexual. Edwards had a terrible temper and once threw a dining room chair at Lisa Marie, hitting her in the back. Living in what should have been a safe space became a nightmare, leaving her feeling alone and scared. The constant fear and violation took a toll, contributing to the mental health struggles she faced later in life. Edwards's presence was like a dark cloud over her childhood, making it hard for her to feel safe or loved. Perhaps the most sickening part of the story is how Edwards tried to justify his actions. When confronted, he claimed that in Europe, this was how they teach kids, as if his abuse was some twisted form of education. This outrageous excuse shows how far he went to dodge responsibility, twisting reality to make his actions seem normal. These lies didn't just hurt Lisa Marie, they left her isolated, forced to deal with both the abuse and his manipulative words without enough support from the adults around her. Lisa Marie Presley was only 20 when she married Danny Keough in 1988. He wasn't a celebrity, just a quiet and talented bass player she had met at the Church of Scientology's Celebrity Center. Their wedding was so private that not even her mother Priscilla was present. They chose a quiet life, far from the spotlight her father once dominated. Soon after, they had 2 children. Riley was born in 1989 and Benjamin in 1992. Riley would go on to become an actress. Benjamin would carry the Presley name in silence, a quiet reflection of Elvis. Lisa Marie seemed to be searching for normalcy. That marriage gave her a sense of safety and peace, something rare in her life. During those years, she began writing songs. At first, she didn't show anyone. She was terrified of how people would judge her. Being Elvis's daughter meant any step into music would bring comparisons she wasn't ready to face. She once said she felt paralyzed by the weight of her father's legacy. Still, she kept writing in private. Her lyrics were full of raw feelings, but she held them close, unsure if they were good enough. It wasn't about fame. She wanted her music to be real, not something handed to her because of her name. The marriage to Danny lasted 6 years, from 1988 to 1994. Even after they separated, he stayed in her life. He was more than just an ex-husband. He helped with her music, supported her through hard times, and was someone she could trust. But by the early 90s, Lisa Marie wanted to find herself. She had been a daughter, a wife, and a mother, but not yet her own person. The divorce in May 1994 wasn't ugly. It was simply a turning point. She was ready to step out of the shadows and live on her own terms. Around that time, she began taking her music more seriously. Friends like Linda Thompson and David Foster believed in her. Linda had known Elvis and understood the pressure Lisa Marie faced. David had worked with legends like Whitney Houston and Celine Dion. He saw potential in her voice and writing. They both pushed her to go further. She started recording demos and slowly found the courage to share what she had kept hidden for years. It would take nearly a decade before she released her first album in 2003, but the seeds were planted during this period of self-discovery. Then came one of the most shocking moments of her life. Just 3 weeks after finalizing her divorce from Danny on April 29, she married Michael Jackson on May 26. It happened in secret, in a small hotel room in the Dominican Republic. No guests, no family, not even Priscilla knew. When the news broke months later, the world was stunned. Lisa Marie and Michael had known each other since she was 7, when she saw him perform in Las Vegas in 1975. They had reconnected in the early 90s, and what started as friendship soon turned into something more. In the middle of Michael's child abuse scandal in 1993, he leaned heavily on Lisa Marie. He called her constantly. During one of those calls, he proposed. It wasn't romantic. There was no grand moment, just just a phone call full of emotion and urgency.